Hi guys, in order to be a member of the Trump administration, do you have to be a liar or is it just something you put on your CV? So Howard Lutnick, a guy I've covered before on the channel, he's the Commerce Secretary. He's in Europe this week to convince Europeans and European leaders that they don't need to invest in batteries for cars, well, because they don't produce any, but also because they can rely on American petrol and diesel cars instead. But as you'll see, there's a bit of a problem with that.
Another example, right? They rule out diesel gas, and you got to have batteries here by 2035. But Europe doesn't make batteries. Only certain countries make batteries, and Europe is not one of them. They've got to think better about themselves. They got to take care of themselves, and we're here trying to help them understand it. It'll be good for American car manufacturers, good for European car manufacturers, but come on, they don't make batteries here. The leader in batteries is in China. Why would Europe make a rule that they've got to use batteries that they don't make? Just doesn't make sense. So come on, think correctly. That's why we're here.
Oh, really good.
Isn't it great that we have people like Howard Lutnick coming to Europe to explain to us that we don't produce batteries and we shouldn't bother considering the idea because, well, there are wonderful American cars to buy. But a quick Google search created a bit of a problem there. There's no exact number of electric car battery companies in Europe as the industry is rapidly evolving. But I thought we didn't produce any. But there are dozens of companies, including both European-based manufacturers and international ones with significant European operations. Major players in Europe include European companies like Northvolt, which I believe is Swedish, and international companies such as LG Energy Solution, which have a strong presence and significant investments in the continent. So we have manufacturing, about a dozen, or dozens even, of battery producing factories and companies producing batteries for cars or for buses or for vehicles. So what is Howard Lutnick talking about? Now, yes, he's right that China produces most of the batteries. That's right, okay. But as we saw there, LG, a South Korean company, also has a manufacturing plant or number of plants in Europe as well. But when I first saw this video, I was thinking to myself, who is the audience here? Well, obviously it's the American audience, because people who watch Fox News are more likely to believe any sort of rubbish. And if you're listening to Howard Lutnick, apart from myself, you're going to buy into all sorts of crap, the sort of crap that Donald Trump pumps out as well. You know, you would believe that, well, Europe doesn't have a manufacturing base when it comes to batteries. They're importing them all from China. And then you just stop there without doing any research or investigation yourself. And I recommend people, don't take my word for it, do your own investigation. Check that the batteries are produced in Europe, what the quantity, and compare it to China. But what Howard Lutnick is trying to do is sell this idea to the American public that Europe doesn't produce batteries, and what they should be doing is not importing cars from China, but importing cars from the United States. And they should drop this plan to reduce or phase out petrol and diesel cars. They should eliminate that and just keep buying American cars. But either Howard Lutnick doesn't understand this or he's pretending not to. I don't know which is worse in the case. Europeans generally don't want to buy American cars. There isn't really a market here for them. There is a market, but it's extremely limited. This is why you see more European cars in Europe. The same reason why you see more American cars in the United States. More Chinese cars in China. So generally, people are buying the local brand. Now, if the United States wants to sell more cars into Europe, it probably needs to reduce the price of some of them. It needs to improve the image of them, the quality of them maybe. But the idea what we're going to do is going to sell more diesel and petrol cars in the United States and to hell with the consequences, but that's not going to work. So I think this message is for the American audience, not the European one, because the Europeans are not all that trusting of Donald Trump and his administration, especially when it comes to stuff like this. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.